musical. It looks incredibly dramatic and exciting.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very pleased with the way that it's come together. I think it's very powerful. The cast are very strong, the director's terrific. And it was always John Conway, and they said John Cameron. John Conway and I, it was really our idea to do a book that would stand up without music. And I think that's what we've come up with. And the music is very, I think, you know, although I wrote it, it's very integrated into moving the plot along. So it's a love story, has tragedy, has unrequited love, has humour, all set in the kind of underbelly of a fairground. So I think it's very powerful.
And it's got all your hits in it.
There's 3 number ones in it, but you know, they're not just grafted on because we didn't want to do that. There's a reason for them to be there, and there's lots of songs that people that probably won't be aware of that I've written over the years. I mean, there's one song that comes from a ballet that I wrote for some Russians called "He Knows Me," and that's in the show. So I think having written so many things, you know, for film, theatre and everything else over the years, you know, we just looked at everything and thought, oh yeah, that could work. We tried it, and then some worked and some didn't, and the ones that worked we kept in.
So were you surprised at how well it all fitted together? Because it's quite a hard thing to do, I would think, looking back at your huge back catalogue and then incorporating it in a story. I mean, it's a difficult task.
It is difficult, but it seems to have worked. This is honestly the only production I've ever worked on where the whole cast is in tears, you know, watching at the side, because there are some incredibly moving moments. So I think, you know, we've yet to get through it without crying our eyes out.
I would think it's also incredibly stressful for them, singing your songs in front of you. I mean, that's not...
Well, maybe. I mean, but you know, the important thing is that they bring their own quality and their own style to it. And I think everybody's done that, you know, and some songs, I mean, If I Could, which is one of my songs, which is in it, a song between 2 lovers, it's quite magical the way they do it. That's different to me, obviously. So, I mean, I'm very happy. It's such a close-knit company. I mean, I know people come and say, oh, the cast are wonderful and all that, but really this is really quite something. And I think the fact that it's a new musical is refreshing as well, because there's so many kind of rehashed things that tour the country. So to be part of creating something brand new, it's been very fulfilling and actually quite touching, you know, watching people sing your songs and seeing the way that this powerful text moves in and out of it. So it's really been quite a humbling experience.
Songs and picking them out and picking out which would be best. That in itself must have been quite moving.
Yeah, it was. I mean, to be honest, there were a few that we looked at I couldn't even remember. So, of course, the hardest thing for me is not to sing everybody else's lines, you know, because songs are split up. I go to sing, you know, I'm so used to singing, say, Hold Me Close or something, I don't even sing Hold Me Close. Jack, the actor, Paul Carberry, plays my son. So he sings Hold Me Close. All in all, it's been a joyful experience, quite moving, you know, in many places, and I truly hope that it relates to an audience in a way that's related to myself and, you know, the director, the writer and the cast.
Because you've had such a hugely successful career and it's been so long. You know, your first #1 hit was Rock On, wasn't it? Which is in the musical, which got not only a Grammy nomination but also praise from John Lennon, which is quite something, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, from there, it was great because in recording terms I could go anywhere because Rock On was such a different record, and as you say, I think it's been #1 3 times in America. It's a sort of legend in its own right. But it's in the show. It's when myself and sort of the villain of the piece start reminiscing about the old days, because the show's set in the late 70s, and we're, you know, talking about the late 50s, and how things were much better then, and that gets us into rock on, James Dean and Summertime Blues, etc.
Because talking about the Beatles, and you had a sort of Beatlemania surrounding you. You were a teen idol. You had women swooning all over the place, didn't you?
Apparently so, yeah. No, I did. It was extraordinary. It was something I didn't expect, and something I wasn't particularly comfortable with. In retrospect, as you say, it's only happened to a handful of people. I wish I kind of enjoyed it more than I did. But I was very anxious to surround myself with excellent musicians, try and write the best things, that I could. So the bedroom poster thing took me a bit by surprise.
And now you wish you'd possibly been surrounded by beautiful women all the time.
Well, these things happen, you know. It's all perks of the job, isn't it?
And as you said, you were courted massively by America, but you kept coming back to Britain. That was a conscious decision, obviously?
Yeah, I love Britain. I was born here. My family's here, and it just felt right. I've always been my own man, throughout the years, and I've made, decisions that I felt were right, and rightly or wrongly, I've always been happy. I've been able to work in what seems to be lots of different mediums, which for me is terrific. I still write and record an album a year, which is, you can get on the David Essex website, and then just before this I was doing Aspects of Love, and then just after Aspects of Love, 56 rock dates, in the UK, and then to do this musical. So every time I move into a slightly different medium, it's fresh. So it keeps me interested, because I've got the attention span of a gnat.
So, do you take holidays? Will you ever retire? Ever take a break?
It's not a real job, is it? I'm on holiday constantly.
So you're still enjoying it?
Well, I'm loving it, yeah. We go through to the middle of next year, and I'll probably put my feet up for a few weeks then. I'm gonna make you a star.